Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्ति भेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So today what I thought I will do is this. Last Friday we did Dakshinamurti Moola Mantra Japam, and I had wanted to teach you the significance of the Dakshinamurti, that Murti. What is the meaning of that? What is the significance of that? So since we could not do it on Friday, I thought we will continue that discussion. So I sent you a couple of pictures of Dakshinamurti, so you can see that. If possible, I will share my screen as I explain. And the second thing I wanted to do was, I had promised to teach you the meaning of all the shlokas we chant in the beginning of the class and towards the end of the class. And some of my past students already know that, but for all the new students, I don't think I've done that in this class. So, and for that purpose, I have sent you a document on WhatsApp, so called Shanti Mantras for Vedanta. So that we will cover today. Okay. We saw earlier that knowledge is never created. Knowledge is always there for anybody to know. If knowledge were to be created, if I were to create knowledge, you were to create knowledge, then we have a problem, because it will be available only for a few people. It's not available for everybody else. And then what happens? No, I publish it, and then it is there for anybody to know. Well, when you publish it, then do you say knowledge is created or not created? Then somebody else reads that publication and then learns about the virus. Oh, this is what the virus is. This is what the medicine does. So like this, every person gains knowledge. Is every person producing knowledge? You have to admit that no, every person is not producing knowledge. At best, you can say, I produce the knowledge in my mind. But we saw that knowledge is never produced, and it always is there to be discovered. So the word discovery is very apt for us. It is true for any knowledge, and more so with Brahma Vidya, it's of course true. And everything that is here is that knowledge which is not separate from Ishvara, from Bhagavan. We saw that before. Now, so this tradition is unique because we are talking about the knowledge of Ishvara, which is not different from the knowledge of the self. Even though I might say, I know everything about myself, but that knowledge is very, that is just who am I, what is my date of birth, who are my parents, and what did I study, what kind of degree I have. This knowledge, that is all okay. But we are talking about who is this real I, who has accomplished all this, who is the son of so and so, daughter of so and so. What is that person? What is the real nature of that person? So when it comes to that, we have to rely on the Shastra. And so that is unique for this tradition, Sanatana Dharma. Wherever you go, you don't find it. And more so, in this tradition, we have actually preserved the teaching tradition. It is a teaching tradition. It is not simply a statement. Jiveshwara Aikyam, Aham Brahma Asmi. Okay? Prajnanam Brahma. Not just an statement made and then we simply chant and we walk away. And many traditions are like that. They have Buddhist traditions, many places they chant, but they don't know what it means. They don't even know the language. I've met people and they don't know the language. They say something and it appears like Sanskrit, but they don't know anything beyond that. But here, look at that. We are going word by word. We understand the depth of every word. So that's a unique tradition. And so here, when we say that we want to, knowledge of Atma is tantamount, is equivalent to getting moksha, then we can say, why do you talk about this need for a guru, need for a teacher? Can I not pick up this knowledge by myself? Accidentally. Accidentally many discoveries are made. I mentioned penicillin. Swamiji likes to quote penicillin. And so that Bell accidentally discovered, he was doing something and then he was growing bacteria, but somehow or the other, those bacteria were not growing. And he was puzzled how you can't grow bacteria in a petri dish. And he was puzzled. And then he found out there is this guy sitting, and there is another species sitting there in that petri dish, which he found out. He should have been upset. And no, he said, "What's this guy doing there?" And then he found out that that particular, must be another bacteria, I think, was producing a particular chemical, and that chemical was destroying all the other bacteria around. And lo and behold, penicillin was discovered. And he was wondering, how come people are praising him so much? Praising him so much. I didn't do anything. I did not want to discover an antibiotic. I didn't do all that. It just happened just like that. Let it go. I'm not really, I don't deserve that kind of credit. But he got a lot of credit. It's one of the greatest discoveries of all time. And antibiotic and further antibiotics. So, so he discovered penicillin accidentally, correct? Serendipity. Can I discover Atma accidentally? Like that. It's okay. I'm too young now, and in time, I'm sure Bhagavan will bless me and I will discover Atma. Shastram says that won't work. This accidental discovery will not happen with Atma. Why? Because Atma always is there. It is not like you have to step over Atma someday and then you go to a temple and you see Atma. It's not like that. And it is always with you. You are Atma. So how can you discover Atma suddenly? It is not going to work. And so we say that you need, it's a catch-22 situation, and we need the presence of a guru, of a teacher. Now, that knowledge, being the knowledge of the whole, of everything, knowledge of the world is not different from the self. Very, very profound statements that the Shastra makes. And a person who can make me see that is my guru. And then what about that guru? How did he pick up this knowledge? Well, of course, he learnt it from his guru. And how did she pick that up? How did she understand this fact? Well, she did not discover it serendipitously. She also got it from her guru. So, like this, you can ask, keep going back. And so, who is the first guru? If the question is asked, well, we can't have an answer to that question other than saying Bhagavan is our first guru. Correct? So, Bhagavan, we attribute it to Bhagavan because you can't go beyond a point, you can't go. And that's the beauty of this also. And so, that knowledge is attributed to Bhagavan Shiva. And when Shiva is looked upon as a teacher, then Shiva is called as Dakshinamurti. Okay. Now, Dakshina. So I shared the picture of Dakshinamurti the other day. I think okay. So there is Dakshinamurti. I don't know how to center this thing, but can you see this? Yeah, okay. So Dakshinamurti. And so clearly Shiva, because the person who is, it can't be Vishnu, because Vishnu is all Alankara Murti. He has to be properly dressed up. Otherwise, he won't be happy. And so we treat Vishnu differently and we treat Shiva differently. And so this clearly Shiva sitting in a forest under a tree and all that. That Shiva cannot handle. Vishnu cannot handle. And so Shiva, beautiful, different way of looking at Bhagavan Ishvara. So, so Dakshina. Dakshin, many of us know what Dakshin is. Dakshin means south. And Dakshin Bharat. So like that we say south. So Dakshinabhimuka Murtihi. Dakshinamurtihi. The Murti, the form who is facing south. Facing south. And we have said that the direction of north in our tradition, direction of north means life, means longevity, means immortality, and which is consistent with the common understanding also that they say the business is going north, business is going south. Business is going south means our economy is going south, means it's going down, and nobody wants to go south. And so therefore that south, that same idea is there here also. South means direction of death, direction of sadness, etc. So north means immortality, north means brightness, etc. Therefore Dakshinamurti says, don't worry, you want immortality, so you can face me. And you face me, you're facing north, direction of immortality. And I can face south because all directions are identical for me. I don't have a problem. And so Shiva faces south, Dakshinamurti. So if you go to any temple, you will find that. You'll generally find that Dakshinamurti is facing south, facing south. So that when I face Dakshinamurti, then I'm facing north. That is typically the arrangement. The temple also, that's how it will be. And it's not easy to find Dakshinamurti temples. And you will find that the Mula Devata is there, whether it is Devi or whether it is Vishnu, whether it is so Varada Murti, etc. There can be any form, but then if the main Murti is facing east and you are facing west, then north would be that, south would be this, and so you will find this side of the temple. In the sides of our temples, we have all devatas are there, and to go to a temple and finish and properly see everything and chant everything, it will take you a long time. And then sometimes you don't understand who is this, Bhairavar. Bhairava. Oh, who is Bhairava? So we have to learn all these things. But so there you will find Shiva facing south. Sometimes in many temples you will find it, and that will be Dakshinamurti. Guru, Guru Bhagavan. Okay, so that is the meaning of the word Dakshinamurti. Now there is another meaning. First meaning is what? The one who is facing south is Dakshinamurti. The second meaning of Dakshina is skillful, adept, master of. Okay, Dakshina. That is the meaning of Dakshina in Sanskrit. So Dakshinaha, Dakshinaha and Amurti. 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 The essential nature of Ishvara, essential nature of Brahma, essential nature of Atma is formlessness. Amurti has no form. How can the infinite have a form? No, it can't have a form. Therefore, I have to, there are forms and forms and forms. I appreciate forms, no doubt. But then only through those forms, I have to appreciate that which is formless, that which sustains everything. And that is Amurtihi. And that Dakshinamurti, that Ishvara who represents that Amurti Tattvam is Dakshinamurti. And skillful means adept, means he is capable of making me see that Tattvam. He is capable of making me see. And so, Dakshinascha sau Amurtischa Dakshinamurti. And so, unto that Dakshinamurti, my salutations. As a student of Vedanta, I approach Dakshinamurti. And I approach Dakshinamurti through my teacher, of course. And my teacher is not different from Dakshinamurti, really speaking, because both stand for the same. And a Brahmanishta, Swamiji, if you take Brahmanishta, Shrotriyam Brahmanishta. And so, for us, the Guru is not separate from Dakshinamurti, which is not separate from the teaching, which is not separate from Atma, which is not separate from myself. Therefore, such is our tradition, and Dakshinamurti becomes important for us as a teacher of Brahma Vidya. Okay. Now, in our Shastram, you will find statements like Krishna is going to tell us. He is going to say, Bhumirapo nalo nilo, Bhumirapo nalo nilo, Harnato himamshuf puman, and then Ityabhati characharatmang, and then Murti Ashtakam. I'm not getting the exact words. He will say Murti Ashtakam. This whole world, this Jagat, is represented by an it has 8 facets, 8 elements. Ashtamurti, like that you will see. And Ramana Maharshi says the same thing. Ashtamurti Brit Deva Pujanam. In his Upadesha Saram, when we study, we will see Ashtamurti, he will say. And this one, Dakshinamurti Stotram also, Shankaracharya brings that, right? Bhurambhamsi nalo nalo niram, Bhurambhamsya nalo nilomvaram, Aharnato himamshuf puman, Ityabhati charatmakamidam, Yasyaiva murtyashtakam. He says that. So this Murti Ashtakam, Ashtamurti is a very popular concept in our tradition. And so the world is represented by 8 elements. Okay, 5 Panchabhuta is there. The whole world is Panchabhuta, no doubt. But in order to gain the appreciation of that, it is called as Ashtamurti. Okay. So, what are the Ashtamurtis? Panchabhutas are there. So, Akashaha, space, Vayuhu, the air, and then fire, Agnihi, Apaha, water, and Prithvi. Prithvi, so, solid matter, minerals, earth. So this is Panchabhutas, and the whole world is Panchabhut. That is the model, our model of the creation. The body is also Panchabhutas, and the world is also Panchabhutas. Okay. Now what? Uh, then, so now look at this. Now look at this. Let's look at Dakshinamurti. And let us see how Dakshinamurti represents this Panchabhutas. Okay. Okay. The first, can everybody see my screen? Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use a pointer here, red pointer. So first element is Akashaha, space. How do you represent space in this Murti? Space is right here. Damaru. Look at that Damaru. And the Damaru represents space. What is there in that drum is space. And so our rishis have figured out, how do you represent space? We're going to represent it by Damaru. And sound travels in space. And so space, which is also the tattvam of sound, right? Shrutihi, Shrotram. So that is represented by this Damaru, Akasha. Then Vayu. Vayu. How do you represent Vayu in a picture like this, right? So sometimes, suppose I ask you, is my ceiling fan, is it on here or not? Is it on in my room? If I ask you, what will you say? What will you look for? You have to look for things that are moving. So if you see this sari behind it is moving like this, shaking constantly, okay, then you know, okay, there is fan. The fan is on probably, so it is shaking. My angavastram is also shaking like this. So like that you can make out. Same thing here also. And Dakshinamurti has this hair, flowing hair, okay, and the flowing hair, I'm going to share with you another screen. Okay. So here I'm going to share you another Dakshinamurti. This is the temple Dakshinamurti for ashram. And so if you look at, this is all flowing hair, okay? All the thing behind Dakshinamurti here is flowing hair. And you will see this line, there is a line on this hair. And this particular band is your bandana, okay? Is the band with which we tie our shika. And all, you know, anybody who has flowing hair will have to tie the hair, right? So that is being tied, and that shows, that is the Vayu Tattvam. It shows, you know, in order to prevent the hair from flying all over, you know, we have to tie our hair. So that is Vayu. Okay, Vayu. What is the third one then? Third one is Agni. Agni, of course, is right here. Dakshinamurti in his left hand is holding Agni. And so Agni Tattvam is represented there. Then what? Apaha, water. Where is water? We can guess. So on Shiva's head, Shiva came, and when Ganga was flowing furiously, you know, Sagar's descendants, Bhagirath, all these people, they did tapas, and then Ganga came and revived all his ancestors, Bhagiratha's ancestors. And so then, but Ganga was unstoppable. And so then Shiva came and took the force of Ganga. So there, you can't see it clearly here. Maybe if I zoom in, you can see it even in this temple thing. So here there is a face. There is a face here, and she is Ganga. She is Ganga right there. And even here, if you go to the other picture, let me zoom this. So you can see here Ganga, correct? They have drawn it. They have drawn it like this, Ganga. So Ganga will always be there for us. And so she represents the apaha tattvam, the water principle. And then finally, Prithvi, earth. Okay, earth. So that is not a problem because this entire Murti is made of Prithvi only, correct? So therefore, Prithvi Tattvam is right there in front of us. Okay. Okay. So now the five elements are over. Now sixth element in this Ashtamurti model is all luminous objects like sun and all stars. The entire cosmos has to be covered by this. Therefore, luminous objects means bright objects. There are two kinds of objects in this universe: luminous objects and non-luminous objects. So the luminous objects are all represented by this sun. Right here, this is Surya, sun. Any bright object is represented here. Okay, that is Surya. Then what about other non-luminous objects? Here is the moon. Look at that. The moon is represented. Here, Shiva, of course, has a crescent moon on his head, and that moon represents the non-luminous objects. And moon derives its brilliance from the sun. And so, and every object in the world which does not have a light of its own shines after the luminous objects. Okay, so that is moon right there. Okay. Then Bhurambhamsya Nalo Nilombaram Aharnataha. What is Aharnataha? The Lord of the day, Ahaha, that is sun. Aharnataha. Himamshuhu. Himamshuhu means moon, Chandrama. Okay. Himamshuhu. Then Puman. The last step is Puman. Puman means Purushaha. Purushaha, the person, the human being, the conscious being. And where is that conscious being? The conscious being is looking at Dakshinamurti. That being, me, us, looking at Dakshinamurti. That is Puman, that is Purushaha. And that is the eighth factor in this Ashtamurti model. Okay. So, then few more things about Dakshinamurti we have to talk. So I'll say it before I share the screen. Then Dakshinamurti is riding a bull. He's sitting on a bull. Nandi. Nandi can be in front and he can also be sitting on Nandi. Either way is fine. And that Nandi represents Maya. Maya Shakti. So Dakshinamurti is in control of Maya. Dakshinamurti is not deluded by Maya. Correct? So that is the meaning, sitting on that, in control of, okay, of the Maya Shakti, which is needed for creation. Okay. And so Maya is needed. And so he is in control of Maya. Okay. Then one more thing is there. Now let me share the screen. So in under the feet of Dakshinamurti, so let's see, scroll down here. So generally, let me see if it is visible here. Okay, there it is. More visible here. Okay. So under the feet of Dakshinamurti, you find this. There's somebody here. Like you don't know if he's a baby or don't know if it is a Rakshasa. What is this? You know, the person has a snake in his hand. All these things are there. Well, that is my ahankara, or that is my, so that ego, like we say, any obstacle that is there, which will be an obstacle in my sadhana, in my pursuit of this knowledge, that obstacle is represented by this person here called Apasmaraha. Apasmaraha. He's called Apasmara. Apasmara. So we have to be watchful about ourselves and about our own ego, so that we don't allow our ahankara to take control of us. We have to be in control of our ahankara. So Dakshinamurti says all these obstacles will be there, never it will be removed, but you take charge over the situations. You be in charge. And so Dakshinamurti demonstrates that by saying, I am in charge of my ahankara. What about you? Okay. So this is Dakshinamurti and Apasmaraha. Then now look. Now, all these mala, so this Rudraksha malas are there, and in the hand, in the neck, etc. And these malas represents all our disciplines. So puja, parayanam, bhajanam, upasanam, so dhyanam, all these things we are doing for our, these are all called sadhanas, and they are represented by these malas. Okay. Then you got this chin mudraha. This symbol is very common. We know this very commonly used in our meditations. Also, we use this mudra, chin mudra. So there, forefinger. The forefinger is a pointing finger. The one I used to point at people. You like that. Well, so that is the finger that represents ahankara, the ego. The actually itself, even though it points at others, it's actually referring to me. Because I'm the one who is pointing at everybody else. And so that ahankara. And then three fingers represents it can represent many things. It can represent the sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna, which is there in any part of the creation, and of course there in my body. So like this, these three fingers represents myself, which the prominent of which is ahankara. Then what? Then this thumb is there. Thumb. Angushta matra purusha. Thumb. Thumb is away from all the four fingers. Generally, it is away. And that represents Ishvara, Bhagavan. Thumb represents Bhagavan. And in my vision, Bhagavan is away from me. Bhagavan to upar hai. Upar wala bolte hai na. We say upar wala. Nida unnadu akada. He's there away. And I can do whatever nasty things I want here because he's away. And I keep him away. And then once in a while I want to visit him. So I go to the temple and then I do all kinds of stuff. So that is my idea of Bhagavan. But Dakshinamurti is saying, Bhagavan and you are identical. There is really no difference between the two. So that is called Chin Mudra. So Chit representing that Swarupam of Ishvara, Swarupam of the Jiva, that Chit. And this Mudra represents that Jiveshvara Aikyam. Jiveshvara Aikyam. That is that Mudra, which you can see, which is popular in Shiva, of course, has it, and any other Murtis also. When they have a Mudra, they will see this. You will see this Chin Mudra. Okay. Now let's see what else. Then okay. Then you have this vidya, this knowledge. Look at this. Here is Dakshinamurti. He is looking so young and he is looking so handsome. And now look at all these students. They're all rishis. And they're all old people, apparently. They're all, they're all having gray beard and things like that. And in this picture, they've been a little creative. They had some, I think these two rishis have dark hair, and these two rishis have a gray hair. So that's interesting. But the point is, Ma, kadav sathikoma. The point is that the students, what it says is this: the jiva considers himself or herself to be aging. I am a mortal. That's the idea. And the mortality is there. And Dakshinamurti comes and says, hey, your true nature is immortality and no aging. Ajaha, Atma does not age. And that aspect. So, Kala Titaha. I am the one who sustains time. I am not affected by time. That aspect is shown by this uh, this Murti, Dakshina Murti. And Chitram Vatataror Mule Vridha Shishya Gurur Yuva. There's another stotram, Dakshina Murti stotram. So the Dhyana stotram, there is one which says Chitram Vatataror Mule. So Chitram, look at this picture. It's amazing. It's so wonderful. Why is it wonderful? Chitram Vatataror Mule, under the root of this tree, this Vatavriksha tree, particular tree, really Ficus religiosa or something they say in Latin. And under that tree, this Dakshinamurti is sitting. And so what? Well, Vridha Shishya Gurur Yuva. Hey, the students are all aged people. They're all Vridhaha. And the teacher is so young. Chitram, Vichitram. It is amazing sight indeed. And then what? Vridha Shishya Gurur Yuva. Gurostu Maunam Vyakhyanam. Shishyastu Chinna Samshayaha. So, and then there is the idea that the guru is silent, and then all the doubts of the students got cleared. Gurostu maunam vyakhyanam, shishyastu chinna samshaya. All their doubts, all their samshayas, they all disappeared. They all got just destroyed by this person who is sitting, such a young man. And then what is the silence all about? There is this popular understanding. Dakshinamurti teaches through silence, correct? And it's a very popular idea, very popular. And you're all teachers, you're all human beings. You have to speak. But Dakshinamurti is not like you. He is always silent, and by silence he teaches. Okay, people take it literally. That is a problem. This taking things literally, you will see it all the time. And so here, Swamiji makes a joke of it. Swamiji says, even when there is a good teacher sitting in front of you, even then I am not able to follow. And where is the question of learning from somebody who is not talking? Not possible. And all these ideas you let go and don't fall into this esoteric stuff. And so here, this silence refers to what? Refers to this Atma Tattvam. It is Nirgunam. It has no attributes, my dear. And so no attributes is given by this phrase called Mauna Vyakya. Mauna Vyakya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Right? We will study that, Dakshinamurti, another time, Stotram. And so Mauna Vyakya, it is not to be taken literally as teaching through silence. It is not teaching through silence. The Atma that Dakshinamurti is talking about has no attributes. And so Nirvishesham, it is Nirgunam. And therefore, Dakshinamurti is said as though he is teaching by being silent. Okay, let's continue. Now, now in the left hand, you will see here, he has the Vedas. Because what is Dakshinamurti going to teach us? He is going to teach what is there in the Vedas. What is there in the Upanishads is going to teach. And so that is represented by this palm leaves in his left hand. And let's see if it is there in this one also. Yeah. So there you go. In the left hand, there is the Vedas. There is the Vedas. Okay. And what about all the rishis and so forth? Yeah. So if you closely look, there are rishis here, 1, 2, and then there may be one or two more here and there. Okay, apasmara is very much there. This is apasmara right there. Okay, so okay, and then there is this aspect. Look at this. Look at Dakshinamurti's earrings. One and two. One left and right. Is there anything unique about this? Generally, when people wear earrings, they wear the same identical earrings. Both earrings should be identical. Look at this. This is crazy. He has one type of circular rings here, and here it is something else. And we have not seen any man or woman wearing earrings like this. Correct? And they have to be identical. But here they are not identical. Why is that? Well, uh, that is because this represents the nimitta karanam and upadana karanam. This represents Purusha and Prakriti. This represents Brahma and Maya. Okay, creation, correct? Brahma and Maya. Maya is needed. Maya Sahita Brahma is Ishvara. Ishvara is equal to Brahma plus Maya. So that is represented by these two earrings, which are totally different. They are not identical at all. Okay, so that aspect comes out here, and we also know about this Ardhanarishwara, correct? Ardhanarishwara. So one half of Shiva, the left half of Shiva is male, and the right half of Shiva is female. Like that, there is a form called Ardhanarishwara. Not this form, but there is another form called Ardhanarishwara, also representing the same aspect of Purusha and Prakriti. The creator and the material, nimitta karanam and upadana karanam. Okay, what else is there here? So yeah, so that pretty much covers the understanding of Dakshinamurti. Look at how profound it is. How how when you understand the significance of the Murti that you're worshipping, of the Devata, then our prayers become even more powerful, even more significant. And for us, Dakshinamurti becomes meaningful. Students of Vedanta, therefore, worship Dakshinamurti. Okay. I mean, we can talk a lot about this, but I will stop this discussion here. And then I want to, during the remaining time, let's talk about this these slokas that we chant.